Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Right, so let's carry on with the guitar solo from 18 Miles to Memphis. So the first part, we're dealing over the one chord, so we're in the key of A. So now we're moving up to the four chord. So based around the, D, D7, D9. And this part of the solo now is kind of based around the D9. So, you've heard this kind of thing before. So that's just our kind of like, abbreviated D9. Little bar over the 5th fret on the 1st, 2nd and 3rd strings. We could always slide this shape up 2 frets. And that's exactly what we're kind of doing. We're starting so with this little bar over the 7th frets of the 3rd, 2nd and 1st strings. And we're going to move into that from just a step below. And although I'm picking the 3rd string, I guess I'm kind of catching the 2nd string a little bit. So that's, obviously we're moving up to a little bar over the 7 frets of the first 3 strings. So our first finger's barring the first 3 strings at the 6th fret. So just kind of pick the 6th. We'll use that to kind of move into our 7th fret position. So although when I move into that position and I pick the 3rd string, the others do kind of ring a little bit, but I'm not really sort of aiming for that. And then I'll pick. So then I'll pick backwards. I'll just pick the 1st and 2nd and the 3rd strings. And I'll move down to our kind of original D9 position, little bar over the 1st, 2nd and 3rd strings at the 5th fret. So I'll pick 1st, 2nd, 3rd strings and then the 1st again. And as I pick the 1st again, I'm always saying, it's just kind of, because of the nature of the strike, I'm doing an upstroke and I'm going to slide that down. So it catches the 2nd and 3rd strings a little bit, or they just kind of ring through. Then we slide back up to the 7th fret position. I'm kind of just sliding, around the kind of 2nd fret area, I guess, maybe, because that's kind of like an A anyway. And so then some sort of just, again, picking the 3rd string, but just, by nature of the kind of strike, just catching sort of the other strings and sliding up to the 7th. So it reaches the target, and then picking strings 1, 2, 3 again. So. So we move back down to the 5th fret, the little bar, and it's kind of like this idea. So we're picking that's kind of like the rhythm. So the first time it is like the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string. But it kind of, as it does it again, it's a little bit more of a kind of a strum, because you kind of hear the 1st string played twice rather than the string like 1, 2, 3. It's more so I just kind of play the 1st string twice. And then kind of just slide down from the 5th fret. Again, catching kind of the 3rd and 2nd strings. So the part that comes before that from the first... So, and again, that kind of rhythmical A7, so which is, 9th fret on the 3rd string, 8th fret on the 2nd string, and 9th fret on the 1st string. So you know where to practice that a little, so we just take that down a fret each. So now I'm going to kind of put like a little triplet, and then And don't put too much pressure in your left hand as you make the chord. And try and just let it slide in. So it's that kind of triplet idea we want to get with that kind of long motion as we reach that target. You know, you can start to just maybe move your hand back, you know, a fret at a time, but not really fall into the trap of assigning an exact kind of rhythmical strike with a fretted position. It's kind of, you kind of slide in with the triplet. It's you know, it can take a little bit to get synchronized and feel comfortable with that. So that's why you can just begin with. And just sort of feel that slide in the triplet. So then we move back to our one chord, and it sounds to me, I mean, there's a few sorts of, you know, there's always, you know, different possibilities what it could be, but this kind of little bluesy kind of bend. So I'm fretting the second fret of the B string, and then I'm going to do like a pre-bend from the fourth fret of the third string. So and I want the pre-bend to be from the note on the fifth fret, the C, you know, the flat third. And so there's our target. So let's make a bend. So it's not really much. So we want to pre-bend that. So, you know, I'm just, as I put myself in that position, I'm just fretting the fourth fret of the third string, and then with my third finger and first finger on the second fret of the second. As I kind of hit that, I automatically, you know, just fret this, you know, the note on the second string, and just my hand can't, because you know, it's only a half step bend. It's not that much needed to get quickly into a kind of pre-bend. So we're coming from the and so those two notes, you know, are purposefully dissonant together. We're sort of, it's kind of playing between. If you look at this, A major. So a flat third from, you know, the blues scale. Or minor pentatonic blues scale. But this note, you know, what we're playing on the second fret of the second string, the C sharp, which is the third of our A major chord, a chord tone. We're always playing with those when we do this kind of act. But when you have them kind of played against each other, you get a sense of kind of bite. But here it's kind of done through a little pre-bend. I think he pulls off or picks. But as I bring that bend down to its fourth fret sort of original position, pull off to the second fret, and I'll pick that, and then fourth fret of the fourth string. And then this little kind of sort of dance between the second fret of the third string and the fourth of the fourth string. So. So we come out to the pre-bend, release. Second fret on the G, fourth fret on the D. So I'm just kind of playing, you know, second fret again, the third string, fourth fret on the fourth, then two times on the third, back to the fourth, on the fourth string, and then back to the last time, which is going on the second fret of the G, which we're going to use that to kind of jump up and play this next little lick. And it's really just done in a. It's really, you know, Brian's just sort of being rhythmical. It could have been sort of any number of things. So now we'll jump up to this lick. So I kind of put myself as I jump to that fifth fret on the first string on the high E. As I get to that, I'll then make a little kind of a bar over the. It depends. Sometimes it's the first and second string. Sometimes the first, second, and third, or the second fret, and then kind of descending the major pentatonic. Fifth fret, second fret on the first string. Fifth fret, second fret on the second string. And it's here what I really want to, because I'm trying to maintain this this bar, because now I'm going to hammer on from the fourth to the fifth on the third string. And as that, even with that sustaining, then with the kind of upstroke, I'm catching those fretted notes on the first and second strings. Or maybe, because it goes by quite quick, maybe this thing after the hammer on. I'm trying to see whether it does lift up or not. I guess that all depends on, because we're going straight to hammer on from the third to the fourth fret on the fourth string, then second fret on the third. And then same kind of idea, third fret, fourth fret, hammer on the fifth string, to the second fret on the fourth string, and then open A. So right, so yeah, let's see. Trying to think of the all of what we've got so far. So yeah, a lot of great kind of Brian ideas in that. All sort of, with his great execution. So yeah, give that a try, and we'll sort of work on the rest of that. Kind of get some of the other licks, and even I'll do a lesson on the rhythm for this soon. It's kind of straightforward. Like as we lead into the solo, it's basically just this kind of thing. But I'll have a bit more of a listen just to try to see if there's any major differences, and we'll get sort of going with that. Right then, so we'll take care and look after yourselves in lockdown time, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.